Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. An Elmira man has been charged with second-degree murder. Elmira police say Devontae Allagood shot and killed 56-year-old Willie Davis on January 19th. The motive for the crime is still unknown. Allagood appeared in court yesterday. He was indicted by the Chemung County Grand Jury for second-degree murder and 3 weapons charges. Senator Chuck Schumer visited Elmira to inform the community of the railway safety initiatives he's pursuing. The senator referenced the recent derailment accidents in Ohio and Connecticut. He revealed his new Bipartisan Railway Safety Act of 2023. The act aims to increase transparency and regulations for railway companies carrying hazardous material, improve emergency response, as well as keep the companies accountable. Corning's St. Baldrick's will host a happy hour tomorrow to raise money to fight childhood cancer. The happy hour will be held in Market Street's The Office. The event will have live music, drink specials, 50-50 raffles, and plenty of donation opportunities. The funds raised for St. Baldrick's go directly to fund childhood cancer research. Mexican officials say all 4 Americans abducted 5 days ago have been found, but 2 of them are dead. William Lajeunesse has the latest.
Attacks on U.S. citizens are unacceptable, no matter where or under what circumstances they happen.
2 of 4 Americans kidnapped in Mexico last Friday after crossing the border from Brownsville, Texas, have been found dead. According to the State Department, the 2 survivors are now back in the U.S., brought to the border Tuesday in ambulances with a military escort. The remains of those killed, however, are still in Mexico.
Ultimately, we want to see accountability for the violence that has been inflicted on these Americans that tragically led to the death of 2 of them.
While the U.S. hasn't released any details of the investigation, Mexican officials believe the cartel may have hit the Americans by mistake. A victim's relative said the group traveled to Mexico from South Carolina so one could get a tummy tuck medical procedure. Shortly after crossing the border, their minivan came under gunfire.
It's very common for a lot of people in Brownsville, a border town, to go to Mexico to do a lot of their shopping and, etc. But this kidnapping is something that is very unusual.
The brazen daytime kidnapping caught on tape and widely shared on social media renewed criticism of the Biden administration's handling of the border and its response to the cartels.
We are fighting as hard as possible. The DEA and the FBI are doing everything possible to dismantle and disrupt and ultimately prosecute the leaders of the cartels and the entire networks that they depend on.
Meanwhile, Mexican authorities say they have 1 person in custody and are searching for others. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Turning to the economy now, the chair of the Federal Reserve is on Capitol Hill talking inflation and how long we'll be fighting it. Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell sat before the Senate Banking Committee. The Fed has raised interest rates at the quickest rate in years to combat inflation, but it remains stubbornly high.
The historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. We will stay the course until the job is done.
Powell says more hikes are coming and will likely stay in place longer.
Although inflation has been moderating in recent months, the process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go and is likely to be bumpy.
Meanwhile, in a New York Times op-ed, President Biden says he plans to put forward a budget this week that would make, quote, the Medicare Trust Fund solvent beyond 2050 without cutting a penny in benefits. He writes through, quote, modest increases in contributions from high-income earners, the government can better negotiate drug prices, reduce the deficit by $2 trillion over the next decade, and beef up the Medicare fund. But, quote, if the MAGA Republicans get their way, seniors will pay higher out-of-pocket costs on prescription drugs and insulin. The deficit will be bigger and Medicare will be weaker. Republicans disagree with the president. They say the reason inflation remains high is runaway government spending.
This is probably a Band-Aid approach to something that needs a more substantive fix.
President Biden is expected to release his full budget proposal on Thursday. House Republicans say they are still working out the details of their budget proposal. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
People throughout California's mountain communities are still digging out after more than a week of snowstorms. Crews are scrambling to clear roads and restore power. Jeff Powell has more.
After back-to-back winter storms pummeled parts of Northern California, thousands of homes and businesses remain without power. Pacific Gas and Electric says its crews have been working for more than a week to get the lights back on, but downed trees and snow-covered roads have impacted recovery efforts.
To restore power, we first need to reach the area and assess the damage. Then crews go out and make those repairs. And in both cases, snow is deep. Roads are often blocked by snow and trees.
And now, California's mountain communities are bracing for even more snow. Forecasters expect the Sierra Nevada region to see up to 3 inches through Tuesday. That's on top of the 3 feet of snow that fell over the weekend. Cold temperatures prevented much of that precipitation from melting. People say they're now trying to clear 6-foot walls of snow from outside their homes.
A lot of snow management, a lot of just being stuck at home, being stuck in Truckee, like we can't leave.
Further south in San Bernardino County, crews are still working to clear roads after storms left thousands of residents snowbound. Hundreds of firefighters have deployed to help with rescue efforts.
6 feet of snow. We're trying to push through a single lane road. We're also competing for the same road space that the residents are.
Forecasters expect another major storm to hit Central California later this week. In Los Angeles, Jeff Powell, Fox News.
We have a special report from our Maggie Hall tonight. She's previewing Big Fox's brand new morning show.
A week from today, a locally known media personality will again be taking to the air. Big Fox News is excited to present Frankly Speaking with its host, Frank Acomb. Today, Frank told viewers about what they can expect from the show and a little bit about himself.
My name is Frank Acomb. I was on talk radio for almost 15 years. After talk radio, I had my own show weekday mornings for 3 hours, and then I went to Washington, D.C., which seems like the next logical step for some reason. Worked there for a while as communications director, and then for 2 congressmen. And now I'm back doing what I love, which is being in the media and doing essentially a morning talk show, just like I did back in radio.
The premiere of the show is less than a week away.
The show's going to start March 13th, and it's 7 a.m. weekdays.
Frank will interview all sorts of folks.
Interviews are so much fun, but I'm excited to interview the new congressman. That should be coming up very soon. I've got a couple celebrities, Rich Little, the comedian. Right now I've got confirmed Loretta Swit from MASH. So some kind of interesting people there.
Frankly Speaking will relate and report to the community we live in.
It's going to be news. It's going to be interviews. It's going to have like a little bit of my personal opinion, but I think that's kind of the nature of it. I think it's just going to be a fun time, and I hope people tune in.
You can tune in starting next Monday for the Frankly Speaking morning show, only right here on WYDC Big Fox. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
Your complete forecast is still ahead, plus this.
When it comes to some of your food, a Made in America label doesn't necessarily mean it came from the U.S. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the new proposal aiming to change that. It's all straight ahead.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, good evening. We are entering into some quieter weather due to a high pressure system that's filling in, but this isn't going to be the blue sky and quiet conditions type of high pressure system, as there is still some moisture that is intact with this system, and it's going to allow for the cloud cover across some of these Great Lakes regions, especially the eastern portions of the Great Lakes, which would include much of New York, bring in this cloudiness as well as some shower chances in place. We'll see that the high pressure system is starting to settle its way in across eastern portions parts of Canada, which is bringing us this northwesterly wind that will be a little blustery here through this evening and into the overnight as it pushes its way in. So note that gusts will stay upwards of about 30 miles per hour, at least through our early morning hours of Wednesday, and then calm as we head into Wednesday afternoon. But even with some calming winds, we'll note that some lake-enhanced snow showers will still be in place as we head from Wednesday and even through Thursday. So just a quick look at some of those snowfall numbers. Really, snowfall drops off significantly as you work your way towards Pennsylvania, but across the Finger Lakes, that's where maybe 1 inch to 2 inches over the next 48 hours will be possible. Closer to the Elmira Corning area, it really will be dependent on where we can see some of that moisture develop and continue to see some of those flakes move their way through. So generally what we're seeing here is that the high pressure system will allow for quiet conditions, as will stay cloudy though, with that enhancement of that moisture and a few flakes. Where we will see maybe some active weather slide its way in will be a more southerly track system than what we're typical to see, but we're seeing that the jet stream is pushing south with that high pressure system. Now what that means is that it could be more of a snow system for us, and that's going to come Friday night into Saturday. Still watching the trends if that could be a little bit farther north or south, maybe giving us some rain chances there. And then after that system, we are going to stay active with some roller coaster temperatures, which is going to lead us to more of this potential of seeing some wintry mixed setups that could give us areas of some icing, some rainfall potential, but note that temperatures aren't soaring. We're still going to stay closer to what's more average for this time of the year. Now we are going to stay cooler than average into our Wednesday, starting off into those mid-20s isn't too bad, but holding us into those mid-30s, that is slightly below average, where average sits at about those lower 40s for this time of the year. Now, as mentioned, we stay underneath that gloominess. A few flakes will continue to develop off of the lakes, bringing us some snow showers through those Finger Lakes. Again, up to 1 inch to 2 inches when all said and done by Thursday will be around. Where the snow showers aren't ongoing, might see some southerly extent of some sunshine, but from Thursday, that is going to be short-lived due to that next system that will be arriving as we head into Friday. Now, Friday, we get a little southerly push with that next arrival of that system that does pump temperatures up to more seasonal trends as we head into the weekend, but that's where we'll hold as to more of a seasonal temperature trend, as we'll have some snow showers, maybe some mixed Friday into Saturday morning, and then more chances to talk about some wintry potential, especially as we step towards Monday.
Do you know where your meat comes from? Last summer, the U.S. Department of Agriculture conducted a survey where roughly 2/3 of consumers said they believed an item marked Product of USA meant that all or most of the meat production took place in America. But current regulations allow international meat and poultry items to be marked Product of USA, even if they did not originate here in the States. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at a new proposed rule that would change regulations and create a more transparent shopping process at the grocery store.
Just because your food label says made in the USA doesn't mean it originally came from America. But now the Department of Agriculture is hoping to change that. The federal agency proposing a new rule Monday stating meat, poultry, and eggs sold in the U.S. must be, quote, born, raised, slaughtered, and processed in the United States in order to bear a label saying Product of USA. Previously, animals from foreign countries could be shipped to the U.S. for slaughter, with those products allowed to feature a Made in the USA sticker. International meat could also be imported and repacked in the U.S. or undergo further processing and still be called a Product of USA. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says American consumers expect that when they buy a meat product at the grocery store, the claims they see on the label mean what they say. The USDA announcement also garnering some bipartisan applause. Monday, South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds tweeted in part, quote, for years, we've called on the USDA to take action to stop foreign beef from receiving the Product of USA label. Our work is finally paying off. The Product of USA labels are not mandatory. The proposed rule is currently up for public debate before it's finalized.
JetBlue's merger with Spirit Airlines could be in trouble. Weight Watchers moves into the hot market for obesity drugs, and Jack Daniels is hitting the road. CJ Papa has those stories in today's Business Briefs.
JetBlue Airways says it's likely the Justice Department will file an antitrust lawsuit to block its merger with Spirit Airlines. JetBlue says in a statement it anticipated the possibility of the lawsuit when it set up an extended timeline to close the deal next year. The Transportation Department is also reviewing the deal. JetBlue won a bidding war for Spirit. The two companies have offered to sell Spirit's operations in Boston and New York and some in Florida to answer antitrust concerns. Weight Watchers is getting on the Ozempic and Wegovy bandwagon by buying weight management company Sequence for $106 million. It offers telehealth visits where doctors can prescribe the diabetes drugs, which are widely pushed by celebrities for weight loss. Members would pay $99 a month for the service. And you should never drink and drive, but now you can ride with a drink. This limited edition Indian motorcycle has Jack Daniel's whiskey blended into the paint. The bike also features Jack Daniel's logos and includes a friendly reminder on the gas tank to drive responsibly. Only 177 are being built. Prices start at just under $25,000. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Car repossessions are on the rise as inflation continues to hit Americans' wallets hard. According to Cox Automotive, the number of car repossessions jumped by 11% last year compared to the year before. That is still below pre-pandemic levels, though. A growing number of consumers are falling behind on their car payments due to high car prices and high interest rates. Still ahead, the friendly skies might be getting friendlier. A look at the new tool helping families with kids to sit together on airplanes without paying more. That story's next. It can cost you a pretty penny to buy an airplane ticket, and it's even more costly if you have a large family. But imagine shelling out hundreds for a flight, only to have to pay even more to sit next to the kids. The Transportation Department says this is a reality many parents are already facing. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at the new tool letting parents know which airlines guarantee guardians a seat next to their kids for no extra charge.
Nowadays, they just add fees to everything.
From concert tickets to hotel rooms and beyond, Americans are growing tired of hidden fees jacking up the cost of their purchases. But when it comes to your next flight, a new tool is hoping to make ticket prices more transparent, especially for families with young kids. The Transportation Department is now revealing its new family seating dashboard. The tool lets travelers quickly check which airlines allow families with small children to sit together without any extra charges.
As recently as a month ago, no U.S. airlines guaranteed fee-free family seating.
So long as seats are available when a customer books. If an airline guarantees a parent or guardian can sit next to their child ages 13 and under at no additional cost, will be given a green check mark on the dashboard site. As of Monday, only 3 out of 10 U.S. airlines listed on the dashboard earned the coveted mark.
American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, and Frontier Airlines have stepped forward to guarantee that parents can sit with their young children without getting nickel and dimed.
This added feature is on the Transportation Department's pre-existing airline customer service dashboard, where you can also find information on the services airlines offer customers for delayed and canceled flights.
It's nicer when you have it up front and you know exactly what you're going to pay. That's the best way to do it.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration is expected to send Congress legislation in the coming weeks to further address airline junk fees.
Southwest Airlines is studying how they can cut down boarding time so they can add more flights to the schedule. According to the Wall Street Journal, the airline is testing out these new concepts at Atlanta's International Airport. Their goal is to trim the time that a plane stays at a gate by about 5 minutes. Passengers who walk through the airport connector to their plane will hear upbeat music. Genres like disco, EDM, and hip-hop are supposed to make people move quicker, according to the team's research. Also in the works is a pre-boarding area for families and people in wheelchairs to help reduce crowding while boarding. More eye drops are being recalled. The purely soothing 15% MSM drops are being recalled over non-sterility issues. That's according to the Food and Drug Administration. If used, the drops could cause blindness from its potential risk of an eye infection. This comes after various other companies have recalled their own eye drops in the past few weeks. Customers are advised to immediately stop using the drops and return them. So far, no illnesses have been reported from the product. Stay with us. We have more right after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. A dog from Phoenix is licking the competition after earning a Guinness World Record for the longest tongue on a living dog. Meet Bisbee, an English setter with a tongue measuring 3.74 inches. Bisbee's owners were encouraged to submit their pooch into the running after sending a family member a picture of Bisbee with his tongue hanging out. His family says the pup loves swimming, frolicking, and cuddling. I'm Scott Beadle. Thanks so much for watching.